After Donald Trump spent this morning disgustingly calling for members of Congress to be killed, Karoline Leavitt decided to follow that up with the most lie-filled, idiotic, and disgraceful press conference I have ever seen. And do you know what? Karoline Leavitt has set that bar pretty high, so I was surprised she was able to clear it. But this was a disaster, and the reason why a screaming Karoline Leavitt had to run away as Caitlin Collins caught her in lie after lie. It was a meltdown from Leavitt. We are going to get into it all, but before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video, and if you haven't already and you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button because it goes a long way in supporting our work. Now, before Karoline Leavitt got into disgustingly defending Donald Trump for the insane attacks he made this morning, she started with another attack he made, defending him for calling a reporter piggy.
What did the president mean when he called a reporter piggy?
Look, the president is very frank and honest with everyone in this room. You've all seen it yourself. You've all experienced it yourselves, and I think it's one of the many reasons that the American people reelected this president, because of his frankness. And he calls out fake news when he sees it. He gets frustrated with reporters when you lie about him, when you spread fake news about him and his administration. But he also is the most transparent president in history, and he gives all of you in this room, as you all know, unprecedented access. You are in the Oval Office almost every day asking the president questions. And so I think the president being frank and open and honest to your faces rather than hiding behind your backs is frankly a lot more respectful than what you saw in the last administration, where you had a president who lied to your face and then didn't speak to you for weeks and hid upstairs and didn't take your questions. So I think everyone in this room should appreciate the frankness and the openness that you get from President Trump on a near daily basis. Go ahead.
Is she serious right now? I know she is, and Karoline Leavitt's brain is so small and broken and committed to the cult that she cannot see through her just completely destroyed worldview. But I can't imagine saying this as a person, much less a woman, defending Donald Trump and calling a reporter piggy and saying that he's just being honest. And it's because he doesn't like questions that are from the fake news or distorting the truth. The truth is that Donald Trump is a pedophile who hung out with his best friend who was a pedophile and didn't say anything about the pedophile ring he was running. That there's no misleading bit of that question. There's no falsehoods in asking Donald Trump why he is so scared of the Epstein files coming out. He is just furious. And it is why, in my opinion, he is trying to change the news cycle today, which is why we will keep talking about the Epstein files, but why he said he wanted Democratic members of Congress to be killed for saying that military members should deny illegal orders, which they are trained to. But when Karoline Leavitt was confronted with that, she gave a stupid response. I want to see the first one. When she got a follow-up request, she started screaming, but let's check out what she had to say first.
Nancy.
Thanks, Caroline. This morning, President Trump accused 6 Democratic lawmakers of seditious behavior punishable by death. Just to be clear, does the president want to execute members of Congress?
No. Let's be clear about what the president is responding to. Because many in this room want to talk about the president's response, but not what brought the president to responding in this way. You have sitting members of the United States Congress who conspired together to orchestrate a video message to members of the United States military, to active duty service members, to members of the national security apparatus, encouraging them to defy the president's lawful orders. The sanctity of our military rests on the chain of command. And if that chain of command is broken, it can lead to people getting killed. It can lead to chaos. And that's what these members of Congress who swore an oath to abide by the Constitution are essentially encouraging. We have 1.3 active duty service members in this country. And if they hear this radical message from sitting members of Congress, that could inspire chaos, and it could incite violence, and it certainly could disrupt the chain of command. These 3 members of Congress, I will also add, knew exactly what they were doing. You look at Alyssa Slotkin. She's a former member of the CIA. Mark Kelly was a captain in the U.S. Navy. Maggie Goodlander was a naval officer, and notably, she is also the wife of Joe Biden's national security former advisor, Jake Sullivan. And so these members knew what they were doing. They were leading into their credentials as former members of our military, as veterans, as former members of the national security apparatus to signal to people serving under this commander-in-chief, Donald Trump, that you can defy him and you can betray your oath of office. That is a very, very dangerous message, and it perhaps is punishable by law. I'm not a lawyer. I'll leave that to the Department of Justice and the Department of War to decide.
But the president.
It is almost comical to me that the response from elected representatives and people who are supposed to follow the news for a living, I'm talking Fox host, I'm talking Republican aides, of course Karoline Leavitt as well, when they are confronted with Donald Trump saying something stupid, crazy, or illegal, their response always is, well, either I haven't seen it or I can't comment because I don't really know. You're not a lawyer, Karoline? Yeah, we are well aware of the fact, and excuse my language, but also don't, that you are a dumb fuck. No one is confused about that. No one is surprised. But it doesn't take a Supreme Court justice to understand that what Donald Trump is saying is insidious, illegal, and idiotic. They're not going to try Democratic members at The Hague for saying that members of our military shouldn't break the law at the order of their idiotic president. That is not the case. And it's why Karoline Leavitt was unable to reckon with the question about Donald Trump encouraging political violence before she ran away, because her brain is so broken. But listen to her try.
Can I just follow up? The president and the vice president, for that matter, have accused the other side of encouraging political violence. Isn't that exactly what the president is doing when he says that members of Congress should be killed?
Why aren't you talking about what these members of Congress are doing to encourage and incite violence? They are literally saying to 1.3 million active duty service members not to defy the chain of command, not to follow lawful orders.
Actually,
every single
you can refuse an illegal order, which
but
is
they're suggesting, Nancy, that the president has given illegal orders, which he has not. Every single order that is given to this United States military by this commander-in-chief and through this chain of command, through the Secretary of War, is lawful. And the courts have proven that. This administration has an unparalleled record at the Supreme Court because we are following the laws. We don't defy court orders. We do things by the books. And to suggest and encourage that active duty service members defy the chain of command is a very dangerous thing for sitting members of Congress to do. And they should be held accountable. And that's what the president wants to see. Phil.
How many hours and days did we spend getting lectured and having them wag their finger down at us and say that you must honor Charlie Kirk, you must, light a little Charlie Kirk candle, you must create a vigil to Charlie Kirk, you must honor him in your house, hang his fucking photo like he's the Pope. And now Donald Trump gets to say, well, I think we should just kill Democrats in the streets and then we should hang them. And no one's going to say a word. Marsha Blackburn got on Newsmax, and I know that's not even a real outlet, and immediately started defending Donald Trump. He posthumously gave Charlie Kirk, a Medal of Freedom. For what? For creating a bigoted political organization that attacked black women to create profits and to push the message of billionaire oligarchs so they could keep their tax breaks? Are you serious? We were lectured that we were responsible for Charlie Kirk's death because a guy who wasn't a Democrat and wasn't a Republican did a horrible thing. And I don't give a shit about Charlie Kirk. And I also don't give a shit about Erica Kirk, except for the fact that I will continue to criticize her because she runs that racist organization now. But we were told again and again that the left had to look inside of us. We had to look deep down in our souls, and we had to see that we are so wrong for our rhetoric. Oh no, not the rhetoric. The rhetoric of who? Of who? They always point to some random person on TikTok, or they'll ask me, Republicans, in my comments, saying that I need to tone it down. And I know that I'm ranting right now. I'm not even going to apologize. I know that I always do. But they say I need to tone down my rhetoric. I am 23 years old. I am not the president of the United States. Making fun of Charlie Kirk and calling him a bigot is not on the same fucking planet, and I'm upset now, as the president of the United States demanding that Democrats in the House and the Senate be hung for telling military members are veterans serving in Congress saying, do not follow his illegal orders. It is crazy. It is crazy that she's defending it. And it's why she just had to run away.
We'll hear more about that later. Thank you.
You misquoted Democrats in that video. That's actually not what they said.
That's when you know that your argument is really landing. Karoline, you did a great job today. You really knocked it out of the park, didn't you? When you have to run away as Caitlin Collins yells corrections at you because you're a liar, you know you really knocked it out of the park. You know you really crushed it this time. Someone give her a pat on the head. Someone give her an attaboy. It's despicable. They're embarrassing. They embarrass us every day and they put us all in danger. And they don't want to admit it. They want to scream rhetoric. Jesse Waters, do you remember the guy calling for civil war the night that Kirk was killed? Immediately shifting blame to Democrats. Oh, we called Trump a fascist. He is a fascist. Oh, we called him a dictator. He said he wanted to be a dictator. Oh, the left calls him Hitler. J.D. Vance called him Hitler. Do you want to play this game? Do you want to come with receipts, Karoline Leavitt? Clearly you don't. And that's what's so funny, is that they are so intellectually unserious and insecure that they can't actually have this debate. Because we'd run circles around them and they'd run away, which is what she had to do. Had to run away from a conversation that is serious because she knows what the real truth is. That this is a problem of the right disproportionately. It is young white men carrying out political violence because they have had their brains warped largely by this president and the behavior that he has not only laughed at and allowed, but literally encouraged. You did not just get a pardon if you showed up on January 6th. You got a lifetime of immunity, according to Donald Trump. Lifetime of immunity. They'll stand up for you. This is a sick day in our history. Karoline Leavitt is a sick individual. I am furious. I hope y'all are okay with the tone that I am taking and aren't like, all right, Jack, let's tone it down. But if you are, and you want to hear someone who maybe had a little bit more of a sane response, what Senator Chris Murphy said this morning was bang on.
The President of the United States just called for Democratic members of Congress to be executed. This is not normal. We cannot allow this to feel normal. This, as far as I know, has never happened before in the history of the country. Every Democratic member of the Senate and the House, their life is in jeopardy right now, especially those that were specifically targeted by this social media post. Democratic senators and House members who were simply saying that no member of the military should act illegally or in violation of the Constitution. The President of the United States just called for members of Congress to be executed. If you are a person of influence in this country, maybe it's time to pick a fucking side. If you are a Republican in Congress, if you are a Republican governor, maybe it's time to draw a line in the sand and say that under no circumstances should the President of the United States be calling on his political opposition to be hanged.
I will not be tolerating this anymore. I didn't with Charlie Kirk. Y'all remember, I said my tone has changed, and my tone has stayed changed. But I will not be talked down to by these people demanding that I apologize or restrain myself in calling out their crimes, and calling out their crimes against humanity, their war crimes, the attack on our country, on our Constitution, on our values. Karoline Leavitt is a sick individual. Donald Trump is a sick individual. I will call them out. If you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button, leave a like on this video. If you stuck around to the end, drop a blue heart in the comments, and also tell me to relax. Keep on fighting, y'all. Don't let them silence you. And until next time, I'll see you soon.